It's the Elsa Show with Clay Novak. Conservative views on world news. Brought to you by The Wellness Company. Prepare for the unexpected. And Refuge Medical. And now, it's time for the show.
What's up, my friend?
The world is a crazy place. Well,
That's on fire.
It's just, I think right now, if you look at the headlines, the world is relatively quiet.
Right.
Just here.
It's just us. It's just us making lots of noise. I feel like the rest of the world just said, you know what, guys, let's just grab some popcorn and sit back and watch this show because it's pretty unreal. It's like a soap opera playing out for the world to watch. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Obviously, guys, we have all of the things, or as many of the things as we can tackle in 1 hour, right?
Yes, we have plenty to talk about. And so everybody knows it's Wednesday.
Yes.
At 4 p.m. East Coast time, right? So we're about we're 24 hours from release, but we got plenty to talk about in the last week before the election. And
yes,
we'll talk about it as much as we can right after this.
So what do we have? 6 days? 6 days?
Yeah.
Or is it 7? I'm looking at my phone right now.
Well, it's 6 days to election day, but there's a lot of speculation on what are we going to know on election night.
Yeah, and this really makes my blood boil. This, to me, is inconceivable. I mean, you're telling me larger states like Florida, for example, they expect to have their numbers in for election night. And then you have smaller states, less people, who are telling you it could take days, maybe even weeks. Who knows? Bullshit. And you know, guys, that I don't really swear publicly much anymore, but I'm calling it what it is. That's bull, and I don't understand how that's even allowed. How is that even permitted?
So and I'm at a little bit of a crossroads with this because, one, I want election integrity and accuracy.
Yes.
Right. I don't necessarily mind a delay that ensures accuracy. The tipping point becomes the longer you delay, the more opportunity there is for nonsense to happen.
Right. And therein lies my problem with the delay, because this has never been a thing before. Now, all of a sudden, this is a thing over the last, couple few elections. Now it's a thing. Now it's suddenly a thing. And I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, the population has grown and more people are voting. Wah, wah, wah. No, this can be done. This can be done. I'm watching. So and think of this what you will. Judge me if you want, people. I get a lot of my news through X. I watch, I scroll through there a lot and get a lot of the information. And it's not just like one-sided information. I try and get as much as I can from everywhere. And yes, a lot of stuff is not 100% accurate, and that's why you keep watching everything. But the things that I'm watching are the widespread instances of deception, of fraud going on with these ballot places. They're, barring people from entering, from voting, shutting the doors, basically. They're supposed to be open until like 5 p.m. in some places. I think we're talking about Philadelphia. This is a major one. They just had a lawsuit. I think I just saw that they put through a lawsuit to, I don't know, I forget what it was. I think Bucks County or something, right?
Yep. So they're keeping it open till Friday at 5, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. So that's huge. But there's also, like you said, there's instances of things not being quite right. Like the local ABC affiliate in Philadelphia has already declared Kamala Harris as the winner. There's a big checkbox right next to her name, as if she's already won the election. We still have 2 days of early voting, let alone actual election day. So again, while election day, awesome Tuesday, we should, be getting results. Voting's been going on for a week, week and a half in some places. I think
we voted.
I think
we voted on my birthday.
Right?
It was great.
Oklahoma started today, early voting, right? So it's this rolling kind of thing. But I think, for most rational, reasonable people, we can avoid a lot of the issues with the simple voter ID.
Yes.
Like it's the I know that certain people don't want that. I understand why they don't want it. I also understand it's cheating for the reason that they don't want it.
I was going to say, wait a minute. Why? Somebody has an actual valid reason for not wanting? Is there an actual?
Yeah, there's the made up reasons of, rural people who, I've heard that. Listen, I've lived rurally. I've lived in rural communities. Everybody who needs to have ID has ID. Everybody can get to the polling places. That's not an issue. And then you've got the counter to that, or probably the opposite of that, is the inner city. Inner city people who don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses. Yes, but they do have ID. And they have ID. Why? Because, you
need it for pretty much everything else that you do.
Right.
You can't travel. You can't buy alcohol. You can't, there's like a laundry list of things that you cannot do without identification to prove you are who you say you are and you're from the country you say you're from. Again, it all makes my blood boil. It's all a means to cheat.
Sure.
And steal, steal it. And, it's scary that they really could make it happen.
Oh, sure.
I get really frustrated when I see people, and I'm glad to see I'm in like-minded with Charlie Kirk, who I just adore. He said exactly what I was thinking. When people are saying, "Oh, we've got this, Trump is as good as one," you're like, stop, just stop. It's not over until it's over. So I've never been the person to, start cheering and applauding before you cross the finish line. So it gives me anxiety when people do that. So I wish
there's two predictors. I don't go by the cookie thing. I mean, that's definitely a Pennsylvania, right? Mm-hmm. And oh, by the way, if you check the website for that bakery, they're tracking sales. They keep it posted.
Yeah.
It's a murder. It's a 90-10, 90-10 swing for Trump. Mm-hmm. I don't buy that, because it was pretty overwhelmingly that way in the last election, and we know how that turned out.
Yes.
There is an economist, a world-renowned economist, who based on economic evaluation of the markets, our markets, the movement of the markets as the candidates move and things progress. And he has projected not only a Trump win, but a complete red sweep. Both houses, which I was a little shocked at. Mm-hmm. And then the one that I follow, and I know it can be somewhat manipulated, the betting markets. And I say that because they truly do not care about politics. They don't. It is all about them making money. They're bookmakers. That's what they do.
Excellent point.
Yeah. Right. So and they are almost exclusively. I think I've pay attention to probably 4 or 5 of them for this. I'm not a sports betting guy, and I'll play some poker, but I'm not a sports betting guy. But right now, across the board, it's anywhere from 63 to 66% Trump. Those are the odds right now. That's what all the bookmakers are laying it at. It's like a 66, 67 to 33 kind of odds. So while I agree with you, it is certainly not a done deal. I don't buy the too big to rig. They're trying to make it too big to rig. That's the Trump slogan.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I really don't.
I don't either. Not if they keep getting away with these, extending the vote counting time frame and, all this behind closed doors and secret rooms and taking boxes of ballots into basements and, ballots falling off of trucks and fire bombs in ballot boxes, all of the things they know that if it's up to us, Trump wins, and they can't have that. So they are desperate and they're wild right now. So I don't think that there is any length that they won't go to not let that man take office.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk desperation and some of the Democrat tactics here in a minute, but in this week, you are going to see more of that. Yeah, you are going to see those odd things that'll flash through the news that you'll see a snip. I remember 4 years ago, I'm sure you do too. Things like weeks later, a USPS bucket of ballots being found in a ditch.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I remember that exact story. Yeah.
Yeah, weeks after the election was over with, it was in the news cycle for about an hour, and then it disappeared. So you're going to have those things. You're also seeing Instances like you talked about, but interestingly, the court cases, like Virginia just won, right?
Yes.
They just got a decision today from the Supreme Court that said, no, those
Right.
16,000 ballots of unproven voters out, right? Take those out. The Bucks County thing just happened. There's all of this going on in the courts preemptively, right?
Yes.
Where I think in the last few elections, it's all because once Pandora's box is open, like you're not going to flip the election over after 24 hours. It's not happening.
Well, I think that's the only saving grace right now, that there are people with their cameras and their everything watching every single one of these places, or at least all of the places where there's known to be a problem or there's suspected to be a problem. They're being watched like hawks. So every little thing that they do is being scrutinized, and then it's getting blasted across all social media. This is one of the times we can complain about social media all we want and the downsides of it, which there are more than we can count. This is one of the good things. It's that accountability, and and what I love about it is that it's accountability by the citizens, by us.
Right.
And I think that says so much for this country right now, that, that we are actively saying, absolutely not, you're not pulling this stunt. So I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah. And obviously, the founding fathers never envisioned this type of technology, social media, and that kind of stuff. But they did, I think, with all intents and purposes, envision a citizenry controlled, citizenry, influenced election, holding peers accountable kind of thing, right? Election honesty. That was always the intent from the founding fathers. So I think, utilization of technology, like you said, we often lament, complain about it. But this is a case where it's being used, and it's being used well, and for the right purposes to really keep the election fair and honest as best as it can be across the board. I'm interested, though. I mean, if you go back 4 years, Tucker Carlson got fired, over the ballot box electoral, or not electoral, but electronic voting machine, controversy. What do you, and then, go back to hanging chads, right? We can go all the way back to 2000 for hanging chads.
Yeah.
And so do you foresee, do you anticipate, anything like that out of this particular election?
Well, interesting. Just before we went on, I happened to be scrolling X, and I did see there is somebody, and I'm going to have to pull it up. I'm going to see how talented I am. Can I talk and scroll at the same time? I don't know if I have that skill. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thankfully I had it up already. Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson said, this is in Michigan, by the way, says that there is a nationwide issue with Dominion voter access terminals. What the actual word I won't say because, let's see. So nationwide issue with Dominion voter access terminals preventing voters from making certain selections. I wonder what those selections could be. According to her office, this programming issue cannot be fixed, and voters are being forced to deal with it. Why was this issue not caught during the testing period? And there's an actual video with this. I'm going to bookmark this so I can try and remember to put it into the show's notes of this woman actually speaking on this. And it will make you want to jump through your phone or your screen and just, yeah. So, these are known problems. Been saying it all along, to stop with these machines, go back to the old-fashioned hand ballots, enough. But here we are dealing with the same BS again. And so nothing is going to surprise me. Nothing can surprise me at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure Tucker Carlson's laughing his ass off right now. I guarantee he is. Yeah. And I'm sure this will come up at some point, in one of his broadcasts or something.
Did he ever, I wonder if he ever sued or anything, or if he just said, you know what, I can do way better on my own.
He's doing so much better off of Fox that I don't think he really cares. Truthfully.
Yeah.
I think there's probably some personal, animosity between him and the folks at Fox, I'm sure. But as far as, regret, I think at this point, no. Although, who doesn't love a good old "I told you so"?
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm sure he's got all teed up. But, I don't know what it will be. I'm sure, whether it's legitimate, valid or not, I'm sure there will be some conspiracy that comes out of this
Sure.
from one side or the other, because it is hotly contested. Now the question will the loser, whoever it is, will they concede without issue, is the question.
That is the question. That truly is the question. And I think you're right. I think, and we've talked about this before, I think no matter who wins, we're not a country that is just going to peaceably go along with whatever it is.
Not right now.
One side or the other is going to give a hard no. And we're in for some ugly times for a good period to come, I think, no matter what. Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, Clay. I told my husband, and I don't know if he knows that how serious I am. I have said numerous times that if she takes office, we're moving to Florida. We're done. We're done here. We are moving. I'm in a blue state. If you guys don't know that already, I'm in a very blue state, and it will all of everything. I think in every blue state will get 10 times worse, and I don't want to be here for it. So I'm out.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But I do think that there is going to be, I do believe for sure that the Republicans are going to control Congress. So even if she does get elected, I think it's going to be a stalemate for 4 years. I think absolutely nothing's going to get done. Absolutely
I really hope that's the case. I hope so.
Yeah, I think that's a given. But I do believe, truthfully, is that because of the last 4 years, no matter who gets elected a week from now, I think that our potential for something significant or catastrophic happening in the United States in the next 4 years is very high.
Yeah,
I honestly, and it doesn't matter if President Trump gets reelected or if Vice President Harris gets elected. I think whatever is going to happen in the next 4 years is it's probably already here, and it's probably already in motion. Because of what's been allowed to happen during the current administration. So, I agree with you. The next 4 years is going to be a challenge. I think that we are in for some challenging times, no matter who gets elected. I think that, if obviously President Trump gets elected, I think economically we'll be in much better shape. And I think in security we'll be in much better shape, but I also think it's probably too late. So, and I'm not a fear monger, and I'm not trying to, scare people. That's my gut feeling. And your talk of moving to Florida is indicative of what I think a lot of people believe, which is, if you don't feel safe where you are, it's not going to get any better if Vice President Harris gets elected. So you might as well just pick up and go somewhere where you're around and with like-minded people, and you can feel a little bit safer in your own country, which is a horrible thing to say.
It's crazy.
I think you're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's a crazy times we're living through for sure. And, I don't know, all we can do is hope and pray for the best, whichever one you do, hope or pray, whichever. I mean, I don't even know what more to say on it. I think the same way that, most of this country feels right now, and for different reasons, whichever side you're on, you're very concerned. You're concerned about our choices. I mean, here they are right here. And I know what I'm picking. I'm sure nobody can tell who I'm picking here, right? I got to put this out. So a dear friend of mine actually made this for me. Isn't that the sweetest thing ever? It's gorgeous. I love it. So thoughtful.
That's pretty awesome.
I want everybody to see
outside. Don't put it outside. It'll get stolen.
No. Yes, I know exactly. Yes.
Don't do that.
No, it's gonna stay right here in its rightful spot. But yeah, so I don't know. All I can say is just if you haven't already, get out there and vote. Stay in the line. Don't get out of line. I think that's been the big things. Just stay in line. I know it sucks, and don't let them intimidate you. I know there's some of that going on in certain areas. For us, it was, even though I'm in a blue state, it was a very, very, very peaceful, quiet process. We were there first thing in the morning. The minute the doors opened, we walked in. There was a little glitchy. Ours are, you color in the little circles for your ballots, and it was just glitchy with the signing us in. I don't think there was any hocus pocus going on. I think it was just learning the system. I think there was new people on it. So no real issues, no real problems. Totally fine. I think that is going to be what most people find. I think when you get into these concentrated areas, these contested areas, that's maybe where there's concern. But, I don't want anybody to feel deterred from going and voting by any means.
No, please go vote. I mean, no matter what, the outcome hasn't been decided yet. So even though people like to say Trump, 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 and the books and, the bookies and whoever else are making predictions and, the ABC affiliate in Philadelphia, saying opposite, whatever, still go vote because nothing's been decided yet. Now, we talked about this last week. So I'm going to propose that on the Elsa Kurt Show Facebook page that we put a poll up that says, would all of you like us to do a live show for about an hour or so prime time during election night? So I'm willing. You're willing.
I'm willing.
But I don't want it to be me and you sitting here talking.
Yeah. Nobody's going to watch us and make us feel bad, make us feel like losers.
I would love to have, I'd love to have a bunch of fans on there. That would be great.
Yes, that would be fun. And we will, I've done a couple, once in a while, I'll do like a live, a solo live, just hang out with people on there and chit chat. And, if you have questions or comments, whatever, we'll put it up on the screen. You can see yourself, you can see your name if you want it to be up there. Put you right up there. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Obviously, if you're going to put something crude and rude, I'm going to see it and you're not getting put up there. But, anybody normal and sane, we'll put your questions and comments up there. So, yeah, it's actually a lot of fun to do. And I would love to do it. Clay would love to do it. But it's really up to whether or not you would love to. So let us know. I'll put that poll up. I literally had to write myself a note because I forget everything.
I saw that.
So bad. But yes, I'll put the poll up and we'll find out. And then we'll know very shortly. Well, I don't know. What should we do it for? Like put the poll up for like what?
Yeah, let's
over the weekend
let's do it through Sunday.
Okay.
And then that gives you and I Monday to figure out what we're going to do and get the mechanics right and all that stuff. And then we'll let folks know. So I think let's call it Sunday before football starts because we'll lose everybody, right? So 1:00 East Coast time, noon Central, 11 Mountain, 10 Pacific. I'll do the math.
Ooh, you're good. You knew all of those right off the top of your head.
I lived in all the time zones, so I've been there. But so we'll do all those. That'll be the deadline, right? So football on Sunday's the deadline. Elsa will put it up, and we'll make a decision Sunday afternoon, evening, or Monday morning, and we'll let you all know if we're going to go live or not. But I think it would be a lot of fun.
I think so.
Yeah. It'll keep things interesting. And listen, folks, we're not doing it at 6:00 when we don't know anything. Like we're going to wait. This is going to be probably a 9 p.m. right East Coast. I think somewhere
that makes
around
the most
there.
sense. And we should maybe have some kind of idea.
Yeah,
right.
It'll be a little closer to getting a decision. So we'll see. But
perfect.
Changing topics though, although not too far. You said desperation. You said desperation earlier, right? There's desperation right now, and what has the left been doing? They've been trotting out all their favorite celebrities, right?
Oh, yes. And of course, their biggest one of all, which for whatever reasons is like it's like their messiah of celebrity guests. It's this chick here, Beyoncé. If you don't know, if you don't follow along with the music culture, whatever, so she has been it's so crazy to me. This woman is considered to be such an icon, such a powerful. She sings some catchy tunes. I don't get it. Like I used to like her music. I don't like any of these people anymore. I don't listen to any of it. As some of you know, I only listen to Christian music these days. So I don't even know any new songs that are out right now, unless it's a TikTok soundbite. Those are I know like a few seconds of, a bunch of songs and somebody go, that song? I'm like, not really. I just know it from TikTok. But anyhow, don't let me go. You're supposed to not let me go off course, Clay. No, okay, I'm back. I brought myself back around. You knew I would come around.
So they brought her out, right? Yeah. And the assumption, now this is the second time this has happened, right? So they brought her out into this, big old rally, and everybody thought they were going to get a free Beyonce concert. And again, no performance.
No performance.
Right? And people I can't believe, fool me once, right? This is like the best case ever.
Right.
Fool me once, right? But, she didn't perform and people are pissed. Well, no kidding. Right.
I think she spoke for like 2 minutes. I think it was.
I think it was 4. I think they said 4. And interestingly enough, and I only saw bits and pieces of the 4 whole minutes that she was up there. But started it off with as a mother, right, as a mother statement, and then I think spent the next 3.5 minutes talking about abortion rights, which like,
gotta love that.
like,
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah,
Perfect segue.
Yeah, so there's that. Now here's one that I saw today, not just maybe an hour or so before we started recording. And this one is a little bit, and we'll get to the Republican side in a second, folks, because there is something to talk about there. But Julia Roberts, did you see this?
Oh my God.
So
I actually want to make a spoof video, a response video to that, which if I have enough time, I'm going to do it. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe this. So her statement was, and listen, she was 100% targeting white suburban women.
Yes.
100%.
100%.
Right? So, another demographic that they're losing, right? So Julia Roberts' message was to all, she didn't say white suburban women, but that's who she was talking to.
Yeah.
If you have to, lie to your husband and go out and vote for Kamala because it's the right thing to do. Right? Literally, one saying that women don't have the capacity, the freedom to vote, in a different direction than their spouse. Right?
Yeah.
That there's such a bevy of women out there being controlled by their husbands that she has to encourage them to lie.
Yeah.
Two, if you're identifying the fact that there are that many women who are in that kind of situation, you probably need to be making another message other than go ahead and lie to them. Go ahead and put yourself at risk.
Exactly.
Just the whole thing is just so screwy that
it's so outrageously insulting to women. It is so incredibly insulting that you're making the statement. Essentially, you are saying that because I am a conservative woman, a married conservative woman, it must be because I'm too weak to think for myself and I have to do whatever, and I'm afraid of my husband and I have to do whatever my husband says because I live in fear to not do what he tells me to do. Like, this is what you're portraying conservative women as. Like, hon, do you know which one of us goes out to the shooting range? I don't really feel very fragile. Like, do you have any idea of what we're made of? Because clearly you don't. And if you think for 1 minute that we're going to be these little cowering little sheep that go, and secretly vote for that ridiculous woman, I can't. It is so insulting. Like, if they didn't lose people before, that should make them lose the female vote. I know they're going to keep all their blue-haired, abortion-loving LGBTQ, XYZ, trans, blah, blah, blah. They're going to keep all of them. They're not going to get rid of them. They're not going to lose any of them. But anyone else, and of course, I think, everybody's targeting right now the undecided voters, the ones that are either undecided or not wanting to vote at all. And, I hope this motivates them to say, oh, geez, well, I got to do it now. Now you force me to do it. I wasn't gonna, but now I'm gonna.
Yeah, I can't. One, it's that, the trotting out of the celebrities, like, one, so much of America is just so sick of being talked down to by celebrities, right? Yeah. I mean, they had Bruce Springsteen, shut up, don't care, right? They had all this, even, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a Mark Wahlberg fan. I'm not. I met the guy in person once a long time ago, thoroughly unimpressed. But he came out at the Trump rally. Yeah. And, and I get it. He's he gets up every day and goes to mass at like 5 a.m., like every single day, right? He's very devout Catholic. And I have a feeling he is a single issue voter, my guess, right? Yeah. And he did the whole, if you don't like it, get out of it, and he talked it down to some other celebrities. Listen, I don't care about Mark Wahlberg's opinion. No. I don't care about Beyonce's opinion. I really don't care about Julia Roberts' opinion. Hulk Hogan, Kid Rock. I don't care. Like, we all have to stop being influenced by these folks. But it is clear that the left is in a very, very desperate time that they're pulling out all the big guns, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's backfiring. This worked for them once upon a time. This was, it was like, where Beyonce is going to vote for Kamala Harris, or, back then, who was it, Biden or whatever. It worked for them at one point. And then everybody, like you said, everybody got sick and tired of it. Like, listen, you live in mansions. I think it probably started around the time they started, telling us about reducing our carbon footprint when they fly in, flying in on your private jet to do a 30-second PSA on climate change. not really going to be your winning choice there, bud.
Well, and then so let's talk about the other side, right?
Sure.
So we had the, and I'm going to screw up his name, but so President Trump had an insult comic. I hope that everybody understands what an insult comic is. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that they do. I really don't. I don't think, and that goes for people on the right as well. I think a lot of people did not know who he was, didn't know what he didn't know that this was his shtick basically, and a lot of people were stunned.
I'm getting his name.
Yeah, Tony. His show is Kill Tony, right? Tony Hinchcliffe.
Hinchcliffe. That's it. You got it.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll be honest. I did not know who he was. I'll be perfectly honest here. It's not my kind of humor. I don't care for it. I never have. It makes me, it gives me anxiety. I don't like it. But he's well known for, like, one of the biggest things he did fairly recently was roasting Tom Brady. Yep. And it was vicious.
Yeah.
Like
so he's not alone. Yeah, he's not. Yeah. Listen, for all of the older crowd, this is like the dirtiest version of Don Rickles that you can imagine. Like that's who these people are. Okay. Yeah. Don Rickles was the master, right? He was the original, like, the guy went after Johnny Carson.
It was a whole show they did, the celebrity roast. Yeah.
Right.
Dean Martin.
Dean Martin, all those guys. Now they still do them. It's filthy. Right. And I understand the anxiety. But there's a whole crew of people that this is all they do. And Hinchcliffe is one of them. Right.
Yep.
So he made the joke about Puerto Rico. Right. And the lead into the joke was, he was talking about this massive floating island of garbage. Right. And he, I think those of us who are even remotely aware of the world itself knows that there is this massive floating island of garbage in the ocean. Right. Yeah. And then he did the left turn thing and he said, and it's known as Puerto Rico. Right. Or something to that effect.
Right.
And okay, bad joke, not the right audience, not the right, Trump's team, truthfully. They either failed in that they vetted him and approved the joke, or they didn't vet him hard enough and keep him in line, and he went a little off the tracks and used a joke that was unapproved.
Right.
But either way, it's a failure, right? The guy probably shouldn't have been there in the first place. But
he was not, from what I watched, he was not overall, his jokes were not well received by the crowd. And he acknowledged it from the stage. You can hear him say, a lot of groaning for that one, a lot of groaning, or, whatever he said. And then he said something, he made a P. Diddy joke, and everybody like that. Like, this is where, and, they kind of let him know, like, no, this is the right direction. That, not so much. So, yes. So I 100% agree with anyone and everyone saying, bad choices, wrong time, wrong place, wrong everything, really. If you get that type of humor and you like that type of humor, maybe you thought it was fine. Again, I'm not a woke liberal and I'm not going to clutch my pearls over it. I just simply acknowledge that not the best choice. Interestingly enough, the joke, because I looked it up. I'm like, well, why would he say something like that? Why would he call Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage? I don't get the joke. I didn't understand it. Why he would say that. So I looked it up, and lo and behold, Puerto Rico has a huge, massive problem with garbage, with waste. And this is an ongoing issue for years, going back, I think, maybe even further than the Hurricane Maria, which, of course, decimated them. And the response for aid was challenged, everything. And, of course, it turns out that Trump actually sent tons of aid, like millions of dollars of aid to them, and it was mismanaged, blah, 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 all this stuff. But this has been a widely reported ongoing problem that Puerto Rico is under this. So I made a video about it, basically saying all of that and saying, well, if anything good can come from it, then maybe they'll get some aid to help clean that up. And or the people in charge who are not doing what they're supposed to there will feel shamed into trying to fix this problem. So there's a little bit of irony in all that. And of course, there are people on the left that, lost their ever loving mind and said some not very nice things to me and really hurt my feelings. I'm just kidding. I could care less. But, so that's the interesting part about that, like kind of like the side story to that it actually maybe put a spotlight on a genuine actual problem that's going on. So go figure. But either way, of course, the left jumped on it, like rabid dogs jumped on it and made the entire thing, besides calling it a Nazi rally, right? And yeah, can you imagine that? Can you even imagine? I mean, we can pause for a minute and just sit in awe of that they're comparing a presidential rally, of course, being that it's Trump, to a Nazi or a Klan rally. I think that's what they're calling it.
So they used the Nazi rally specifically because there was a pro-Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden, the oldest version,
right,
Square Garden, in 1938. Right.
Yeah.
So
nothing had ever been in the Madison Square Garden since then, right? There's never been another thing.
No, not at all. Not a Hillary Clinton rally.
No.
It wasn't one of those.
No,
Marilyn Monroe didn't sing to JFK for his birthday at Madison Square Garden. That didn't happen either.
Nope,
yeah, it's never been. Yeah. Billy Joel,
never sold out
100 shows there. As a Jew, didn't do 100 shows there.
Yeah.
So it's got blown. It got blown out of proportion. The Nazi rally. Comments, the fascist this and blah 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 blah. And then of course you get the capper from the commander in chief, who turned around and expressed his "take your banner down."
Oh, damn that banner! There we go. There we go.
Yeah. So he said it, and of course he declared all Trump supporters garbage. The only thing I see coming out of that is the only garbage I see coming out of this is his supporters, right? And now,
I have it here. Let's just play it for everybody because somebody will say he didn't really say that. You're taking it out of context. Oh yeah, here you go.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Sorry, my bad. So unfortunately, the only truly coherent part, or unfortunately for him, the only coherent part was the part where he called us all a bunch of pile of floating garbage.
Yeah.
Very bad job reading off the teleprompter too.
They've been walking it backward. Jean-Claude Van Damme standing at the podium has been walking it backwards and saying he was talking about the comedian. No, he was not.
No, he was not. No. And we can just in case somebody wants to question that, we're going to play it again.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
The only garbage I see out there is his supporters. Very clear statement.
He's not talking about the comedian, which is what, Jean-Claude Van Damme's trying to convince us. He was talking about the comedian. No, he was not.
No.
And so we've got yet another, from the Party of Unity, right? The adult in the room.
The Joy and Unity Party.
Right? And the adult in the room, remember from 4 years ago, what we're getting is more of the same.
Right.
And so, you take that, you add that. So you got the basket of deplorables, right? We've all been a part of for a while.
Yep.
So now we're deplorable garbage.
Right.
And then, just keep going backwards, right? President Obama, even First Lady Michelle Obama, right? When they go high or when they go low, we go high. And she came out, called Vance a weirdo, used all the same monikers for President Trump, misogynist, racist, fascist, all that crap, right? And then you've got President Obama over the last couple of weeks. We talked about him talking very, very condescendingly to the African-American males.
Yeah.
Well, he did it again this week and said, male Trump supporters, they think that his, the way that he conducts himself is a show of strength, and he went through with all these qualifiers. And the last one that he said was, the way that you treat people with dignity and respect is showing real strength. So let's go back in time.
Yeah.
Right. So Hillary clearly wasn't showing any strength using deplorable.
Right.
He in his own just words earlier basically said he doesn't, male Trump supporters don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what real strength is. Let me tell you what real. So again, condescendingly, that's not dignity and respect.
Right.
And so it's more of the same crap. And unfortunately, it's bleeding downward. I know you're seeing it because you've been targeted with it, but I'm seeing it all over social media. Friends and family members attacking Trump supporters, friends and family members, solely because of a post, right?
Yep.
And it's not a post like, if you were a Biden supporter and I was a Trump supporter and I posted something, I'm not attacking you, but you turn around and attack me personally. It's crazy. The level of, not the level of anger and vicious, it's the people who are doing it. These are normal, average people who have been poisoned by this mindset. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I wrote a blog on it. You can check it out. It's out there all over the place. But this whole thing it's poisonous. It's
the
awful.
level. I'll tell you, Clay. The level of hatred, like rage-filled hatred, that these people just spew for having different beliefs over politics. Like, it's so crazy to me. Like, the things that I've firsthand experienced of people thinking it's okay to say to me and to message me and to even go so far as to email me. Like, I've had people who it wasn't enough to just comment on the post. They had to direct message me, through Messenger. Then they had to also send an email just to make sure I really knew how much they hated me and hope that I die. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you that these people will say, I hope you die. I hope,
I believe it.
The things are vile. And then, and I've said, on occasion, I've told my, the people who follow my content, I apologize to them that I don't read my messages because I like feeling good. I like feeling healthy and sane and not being baited. Because my problem is I like to fight back, so I have to go with my better nature and really, honestly, I would. There is a strong part of me that still lives large that I do want to fight them back and go just as hard against them. But the reality is these are, and I'm genuine when they are unhinged.
Yeah.
They are not okay. These are the people that will show up at your house, and tell, everybody your home address, find out where your family works, find out this is how unhinged and unhealthy these people are. They're not, they're not right in the head. And that party has amassed them.
Yeah. And there's, back to the desperation. This is because they're starting to lose so many of the demographics that they've just assumed in the past. Right. And so we've talked in the last couple of weeks about African-American males, right? They're losing African-American males. They're losing a lot of the Latino vote, right? Even they thought the border policy was going to be great it's not. Because the Latinos that are here who did things the right way, and I hate to remind them, but Latinos have a tendency to be just unbelievably Catholic, right?
Yeah.
So like they have a higher, that demographic is out. I mean, it's a big thing, but now they're also losing the Muslim population.
Yes.
Right?
This is wild, right?
Right. So it's a Michigan mayor, right? There's a Muslim mayor in a deeply Muslim city.
Yeah.
Who is a huge Trump supporter, came out publicly, right? Yep. And they're starting to see that in more places around the United States because of the way truthfully that the current administration has not taken a stance on Israel and Iran and Hamas and Hezbollah. It's not because they've chosen Israel, because they really haven't. It's because they're not doing anything.
They're not doing anything. Right? No one's home. All the lights are on and nobody's home there at the White House.
And I firmly believe that and I spent a lot of time in those countries. Everybody knows that. And I made a lot of good friends there. And I'm not one of those people who assumes that all Muslims are not bad people. Far, far, far from it. Okay. Right. What the Muslims want, the Muslim population, especially here in the United States, is what everybody wants, which is peace. End the frigging war, right? Yeah. They don't like being associated with those terrorists, those extremist organizations. They want all this to end. And the fact that the Democrats have turned into war hawks and the fact that they're keeping this going and they're not taking a stance to stop this. Oh, by the way, you and I have said President Trump can stop this at the drop of a hat, right? Yes. And he will. That's what they're looking for. And again, that's why the Democrats are losing this demographic and they're panicking. It's absolute panic.
I don't know if you knew this. I didn't know this, but Trump's daughter, Tiffany Trump, her husband is Lebanese American. He's a Lebanese American, but her father-in-law is a very successful, high-profile businessman, and he has been busy, amassing a following for Trump in that community. So you never know. I mean, like you said, there's some huge groups that backed him. Let's see, former is projected to win the Arab American Muslim vote and also the ultra Orthodox Jewish vote, which is so wild, right? That is like the wildest thing ever. But and it's remember, exactly what you said.
He's a racist.
Right.
He's a fascist. He's all those things, right?
All of those things.
Yeah, except for the fact that he's not, and everybody sees through the bullshit, right? So he's got two son-in-laws. One's a Muslim and one's a Jew, right?
Yes.
I'm sure if he was a racist and a fascist, he would, be really allowing that in his house.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it would be laughable, right?
Yeah.
If there weren't so many people who took this all to heart, and believed it hook, line, and sinker, despite all of the evidence smack in your faces telling you otherwise. But no, just listen to what, the White House says and the mainstream state-run media say. Just listen to them, because clearly they've had your best interests at heart this whole time. Ridiculous.
Yes. And we've got another example of that as JD Vance walked into CNN, sat down with Jake Tapper and slapped him around a little bit with the truth while Walsh and AOC were on Twitch playing football.
Yeah. I can't even. It's so...
You know why? It's another demographic. They're trying to appeal to young males.
Right. Yes.
So they get the pretty girl who's dumb as a post. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
They get her. They get Walsh, who clearly was not a football coach like he claims to be, because he said she runs a pretty mean pick six, which is not a play. Like, if you know anything
and then
about
Vance
football,
tore that apart too, right? Vance busted him on that.
So while he's stepping in and he's sitting down with people like Tapper and tearing them apart, we talked about Martha Raddatz and him, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And he's doing it with a smile, and he's doing it as a gentleman, right? He's taking on the tough ones, and he's doing a great job. And he let Tapper have it, because it was about, the Russia hoax and the collusion and everything else. And, Tapper was saying, well, but Trump said this. And he's like, your whole network's a fraud. And let me explain to you why you're in the middle of it. And he laid it out for him. And then, by the way, pulled another coup just yesterday or this morning.
Yep.
So the Kamala Harris, Joe Rogan interview fell apart.
Right.
Because
she gave a list of demands.
Yeah. She said, come to me, and only for an hour, which would have turned out just like the Bret Baier report, right?
Right.
All of her handlers would have been there. They would have cut it short. It would have started late, all that crap. Rogan said, no, not doing it. And who swoops in? JD Vance. He's like, I'll do 3 hours with you.
He's like, sure, why not?
No
Sounds
problem
fun to me. Yeah. I mean, you can't, it cannot get more clear, more obvious. Like, this is why I get so frustrated, Clay. Like, how much clearer can this get? You have one side who's hiding behind handlers and scripts and, fully orchestrated meet and greets that are, just photo ops, and idiots playing video games together, while Trump and Vance and RFK Jr. and Vivek,
Tulsi Gabbard,
and they are all out there every day, multiple stops a day, just taking it all on, positive, negative, combative, whatever it is. They're just saying, bring it, bring more. They put on their war paint and they're like, keep going. I can do this all freaking day.
And they do.
And they do.
And they do.
Yeah. It has been incredible to watch. Trump alone, obviously, first and foremost, Trump alone, to know his schedule.
Yep.
I think I was on TikTok that I saw a video from somebody in his, probably runs his social media, or at least for that platform. And she did a little spend the day with us, a day in the life. And, it was like, I think he made 4, multi-state stops, sat for interviews, stayed like he does. We talked about this, stayed after longer, signed things, answered questions, then did like an impromptu thing with somebody. This is what he does. He's completely fearless. And, that's what I want for a president right there. Doesn't shy away from anything. Again, I said it last week. I'll say it this week. Sure, he may say more than you want him to say. He may say it in a colorful way, in an inelegant way, but you're going to get the truth from him every damn time. So I'll take it.
Yeah, the guy's a machine, and his whole team is, right. And he's already his team. In fact, I heard a great, RFK, because Trump would never say this out loud, or at least maybe, I don't think he has, but I know RFK said it the other day, is that, President Trump found the fault in the late transition planning from his last, time into office. So from election day, declared the winner to the time that he got inaugurated, he built the transition team, and he got convinced to hire a bunch of people that he knows now were the wrong people to hire. He admits it. He screwed up because he didn't know any better. Yep. He hired, and this was part of the Rogan discussion, right? He hired he brought on people from the oil industry to be part of that, Energy Commission. He brought on, all these lobbyists and all this other stuff. And he knows it was a mistake, and he admits it. But what RFK said is that this has never happened before, but he has already, out of his own pocket, funding to his transition team to make sure that it goes the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Never been done before. Again, finding a solution to things once he knows there's a problem, and he pays for it. Making sure it goes better than last time. And again, he screwed up and he admits it. And you said it, like, this is the guy that you want, and that's why.
Yeah. That's why look at the people that he is putting on that to Elon Musk. Are you kidding me? Richest man is he the richest man in the world? I mean, pretty close to it if he's not, right? Absolutely brilliant. He's a literal genius. This guy is going to fix stuff. RFK, that man's wealth of knowledge, again, incredible. Tulsi Gabbard, tough as nails, love her to pieces. Vivek, I mean, you look at this team that he has assembled.
I'm not a Vivek fan.
I never was a fan of his as far as a presidential candidate. I think there was a place for him. I did not trust him at all.
Used car salesman.
Yes, I did not trust him. He spoke a little too well for me, actually. I know it's a terrible thing to say, but I'm with you on that, actually. But I think it plugged into the right spot. I think he could be highly, highly, highly beneficial. Again, I love what he just did. He pulled an Elon Musk. He bought I don't know, right? BuzzFeed. If you guys don't know what BuzzFeed is, it's a very leftist digital mag, online magazine, whatever. And, everything is very leftist. So he just hopped on a plane and went over there. He's the second largest outside shareholder. Yeah. And went to have a nice little meeting with him to tell him who they're going to be hiring and what types of things they're going to be putting out for him. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking. This is what we have needed. We have needed independent people who are not in the pockets of big pharma, big tech, big whoever, that they are independently wealthy and don't need, these people. They're not going to be swayed by any greed stuff, greed stuff.
And I think, we're not going to get to that last topic because there's one other thing that I think we need to talk about, and it's related to this, is the fact that, whether the big CEOs are trying to make nice with President Trump because they know he's going to win, I think that's part of it. They're business guys. They're not idiots, right? They know that they've poked the bear too many times, and they know that the bear's coming back. They're trying to get back in line. But I think you're also seeing a trend. If you saw the op-ed from Bezos after the Post said that they are not endorsing a candidate, and he basically said, "Listen, we need to stop doing this. We as an industry need to stop doing this. We need to stop endorsing candidates. We should be providing unbiased, and some of that may have been pandering to President Trump specifically, but there's been a couple of other news outlets that have done the same thing, followed his lead, and not just not endorsed, but endorsed what he said in his op-ed, saying, hey, we're the media sucks right now, and everybody hates the media because we're very, very biased, and we need to stop this. So you're starting to see some changes, even in the days, we have a week left. We've said it. Right. You're seeing people. Which
is, we can look at that as being a huge indicator of where they think things are going. Those are big moves from huge people, in the financial business world.
Yeah. And there was an outcry, people attacked the staff at the Post.
They went crazy.
Crazy. They went after Bezos, and he basically told them all to shut up and go to work. What a good boss.
Some people resign, right? Some people left. Yeah.
200,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
My favorite, though, and I'll say this because I said it on social media, and I'm going to say it again. Stephen King, right, came out and said he was canceling his subscription to the Washington Post because he can't believe this, and it's the wrong thing to do, and blah, 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 blah. But I'm pretty sure if you go to Amazon right now, you will find Stephen King's books being sold on Amazon.
Oh, funny. He's not pulling his books off of there? But why?
Other Bezos-owned enterprise. So he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
So he's a man of no principle, is really what it boils down to.
None whatsoever. Yeah. None whatsoever. And he's probably, if I were to say I was at all remotely heartbroken about any of these celebrity, laned people, he might be the one I would have said, because I was a huge fan of his books growing up. I always liked his books, and it's no surprise that he's nuts. I mean, look at the books that he's written. I mean, it's not that it's a surprise. It's just such a bummer because it takes away your enjoyment of those things. But whatever, it is what it is. They're, I always appreciate when they show their true colors. I am actually glad when they come out of the woodwork like this and they show their craziness, because again, it just tells you what you want to be around and what you don't want to be around. So it's all good. Keep coming out with your craziness. People like Pink and whoever else. Keep going. Keep going, guys.
The internet does what the internet does. And
It
when they
sure
do
does.
stuff like that, then, somebody inevitably in the millions and millions of people that are out there will catch on to the Stephen King thing is a prime example.
Oh, yeah.
I'm canceling my subscription. And, and he puts it on X. Like, if you want to cancel it, fine. That's great. Cancel it. Nobody cares.
Nobody freaking cares, dude.
Put it on X, and then somebody goes, Are you canceling all your books off of Amazon too?
Crickets for that, right?
Immediate, right? And then it goes viral.
Yeah.
So they're being kept in check again. It kind of goes back to one of our first, talking points, which is, the citizenry through the use of social media is keeping things in line in I think a different way than we've seen in the recent past. So I think it's a good thing. I really do hope that everything in the next week goes smoothly. A week, on election night and immediately following. Because I think that's probably our riskiest spot. But just a reminder, Elsa's going to put up a poll, vote, and we can either hang out with you guys on election night, or we can just sit in our PJs in front of the TV and watch, and maybe Elsa will even do the show in her PJs. You never can tell.
I might. It could happen. I'm wearing my sweatpants right now. You didn't even know it until I told y'all. Why would I just throw myself under the bus like that? Whatever. I don't care. I don't care. It's okay. TMI, right? TMI. So yes, look for that poll. Probably tomorrow morning. I'm going to put that out tomorrow morning. And we look forward to hearing what your thoughts were. I mean, we're not going to be insulted if you don't want to watch it. We know you have busy lives, all that kind of stuff. But either way, we're all good, guys. We're all good. And we look forward to seeing you the next time that we see you, whether it's live or giving some recap after, whichever the case is. It's all good. Or both. Maybe it'll be both.
Or both.
All right, guys. Clay, you close them out, please.
Hey, I am on a plane tomorrow to go down to Florida to go do my favorite thing in the entire world, and that's go jump out of an airplane with the Phantom Airborne Brigade, the veteran organization. Please look them up online. Donate if you can. All volunteer-run veteran organization, great for vets' mental health and some camaraderie and fellowship. So if you can, donate to them. Become a member if you're an old paratrooper like me. It's a blast. We have a good time. But I'm doing that on Saturday. I will be down in sunny Florida. You and I, normally this is the other way. Right?
I know, usually. But, very true.
Yeah. Hey, folks, I will see you next week, and maybe we'll see you live on Tuesday. But in the meantime, keep moving, keep shooting.
Take care, guys.
Combat veteran Terry Davis traded a life of adventure and violence for the quiet of the Midwest prairie. But when he catches wind of a potential terror threat to the country he swore to protect as a young man, his instincts make it impossible to stay on the sidelines. Dusting off his years of training and experience and his guns to protect himself, his loved ones, and his nation, the aging warrior winds up in Tampa, making friends and meeting enemies along the way. As the threat slowly takes shape and reveals itself, Terry relies on the smarts and skills that kept him alive through years of combat. Yet the threat is much bigger than he realized, and he's not sure who he can trust. The one thing he knows for sure is that if he wants to stay alive, he needs to keep moving, keep shooting.
Get ready for the much-anticipated return of Elsa Kurt's beloved series, Welcome to Chance, on October 24th, 2024. Set in coastal New England, this small-town saga captivates with its intricate tales of life and love. Follow the intertwined lives of 5 unique families as they navigate the complexities of their picturesque community. Experience the charm and drama of Chance, where every character has a story that tugs at your heart. Whether you're a returning fan or a newcomer, there's something for everyone to enjoy and connect with. Pre-order your copy now and immerse yourself in the enchanting world that Elsa Kurt masterfully brings to life. Don't miss the opportunity to fall in love all over again with the unforgettable stories of Welcome to Chance.